Hey everybody, this is Everyday Commentary, and this is a Sweet Stuff Saturday video recorded on a Saturday, and you have in front of you what I think are the three best knives that Spyderco has ever designed. I know that some people would probably put the fluted tie or fluted carbon fiber S90V Native 5 on there. I know that some people might drop the Michael Walker on there. I also think that a lot of people would say that the Paramilitary 2 and the Para 3 deserve to be on there. But for my money, these are the three best. I think that any one of these makes an absolutely superb EDC. And I'm going to go through why I like each one of these. This video was spawned by the fact that I finally found a Caly 3 that was in decent shape. I picked it up from Arizona Custom Knife, and it arrived a day early, and boy, is this still an outstanding knife. Now, it's obviously used. There's a little bit of burnishing here on the blade, but it's in pretty good shape, and considering this is not going to be a collector's piece, but something that I like to carry and use every day, I wasn't too upset about the way that it came in terms of its fit and finish and its level of use. This knife is just one of the very best knives. It's a Sal Glesser design, and it is a conversion of the Urban into a locking folder. They've made a couple of different variants. There's a Caly 3.5, there's Caly 3 in various steels, black G10 with VG10 blade. There is the green one with HAP 40 steel. There is the high-end one with the Damas steel blade. And then there's this one, which I think is probably the best of them. And this one is the one with the carbon fiber, true carbon fiber handle, and the ZDP 189 420J steel Sanmai. It's a core of ZDP 189 sandwiched between two pieces of 420J steel. The knife really does, even 10 years later, really does just crush other knives. It's so good in the hand. This really nice half and half finger choil, the excellent thumb ramp without the pokey part. It's been rounded over, and then just this very nice thin profile in the hand. This is a really thin knife, despite the fact that it's kind of a thick, the lockback part is pretty thick. Overall, the knife is really quite thin. You compare it to something like this ZDP 189 Lacanico Old Guard. You can see, like, this is a much thinner knife than that, because this isn't a terribly thick knife, and this is thinner than that. Really, really great knife. Probably the best version of the leaf-shaped blade with the finger choil. Just a really, really outstanding, you can see the wear there. Outstanding knife. I love, love, love this knife. And of course, the wire clip is awesome. Very, very good. Quite fancy. Still feels great in the hand. In terms of titanium frame locks, there have been a lot of titanium frame locks that Spyderco has made, but none of them have really hit quite as nicely as the Brewer. The Brewer is one of those knives where you had to kind of like excavate the greatness, because it came with this really terrible pocket clip that was sort of mounted off center and was like this long. So I went and replaced it with a Lynch pocket clip, and the Lynch pocket clip has been on probably since I got the knife. The entire time I've had the knife, except for maybe the first 30 days, because that clip was terrible. But with a nice clip, this knife is really one of the very best EDCs you can find. It's a humpless design. I normally don't like humpless Spydercos, but this is a really great one. The action on the opening is quite good. I mean, this is one of the very few Spydercos that you can, that's not a flipper, that you can reliably pop out, because it's not a lockback, and because it's a pretty good, well-tuned frame lock. You can get that good snappy action. I also like the blade shape here. Now, compared to the blade shape on the Caly 3, which is this somewhat unusual leaf-shaped blade, this is a pretty standard drop point. but it's a really useful drop point because it has something of a belly, it has a good straightaway, and it delivers a lot of the thickness of the knife steel, the blade stock, right to the tip because of how they do this really well-designed, very refined drop point. Overall, I think this knife is one of the very best they've ever made. I would love, love, love to see a sprint run where they do a different handle scale, because this is the G10, the British Racing Green G10. I'd love to see an upgraded steel and a wire clip. If they could do that, that would be perfect. This is really one of the better EDC knives they've ever made, and it's super, super nice to carry. It too is relatively thin, though not as thin as the Caly 3. You can see again, the Caly 3 is just like super, super thin. Because it's a humpless design, it fits in your pocket quite nice. When you have this deep carry over the top pocket clip from Lynch, oh, just fantastic, fantastic. I like Spyderco's S30V, but it's still S30V, which means it's harder to sharpen than it needs to be. And it's not anywhere near as good as the steel on this knife. The last knife in this trio of awesome is this knife, which you guys, of course, know is the Spyderco Dragonfly. This one is in 20 CV. This was the blade. This was the DLT exclusive with the black Zome and the black and red Zome and the 20 CV. There is currently no Dragonfly that has a knife steel that I really, really like. Like the high-end one is the K390, which I'm not a fan of K390. I want my EDC stuff to be pretty stainless. I'd prefer it to be more stainless than super high hardness. Not only because high hardness is hard to sharpen, but you know, like I do lots of stuff like food prep with my knives, and so I want them to be more stainless than that. This is a really good version. It's completely stock, but if you want to see a sweet, sweet version, this. Look at that. Those are some aftermarket micarta scales. A reader sent them to me. He was doing like a little test run, and he made them. I put some oil on them so that they have this nice sheen. And man, is this one hell of a knife. Oh, it's actually lighter than the stock Dragonfly. And this one is in ZDP 189, and it's a full blade of ZDP 189. I have used and carried this knife a bunch. This is probably my very favorite production knife that I own. You know, the scales just really make the knife so, so cool. Really, really great little knife, made better by a thoughtful aftermarket upgrade. If you were to ask me, like, what's the perfect EDC knife, it would be a micarta handled Dragonfly with some really nice steel. There's really nothing you can't do with this knife. It's capable of doing surprising amounts of food prep. You get a full 4-finger grip on it, and with the micarta scales, it just looks totally banging. I love this knife. So there you go, 3 best Spydercos, my opinion. Fight down in the comments.